Hey y'all! This video will be showing the stitches used in the Vidalia skirt designed by Morosa Designs. You can find the link for the full written pattern in the video description below. Alright, so we're going to start out with a magic loop. I prefer to use magic loops generally when I make motifs just because I like that you can adjust the center ring. The only thing is you need to make sure to tie in and sew the ends really well, especially in the center, because if not, it'll come undone from the center. You could also chain 5 and slip stitch into the first chain and create a loop that way. This is really up to personal preference. I recommend the magic loop. Once you've made your magic loop, go ahead and double crochet 12 into the center. Each of the double crochets are going to be separated by 1 chain. So when you get to the end, you can just slip stitch into that first double crochet. Okay, once that's finished, you're going to make a cluster on top of each double crochet. Each cluster is going to be separated by a chain 3, and you'll end up with a total of 12 clusters. To make a cluster, you're simply going to put the yarn over your hook, put your hook through the stitch, yarn over the hook, pull up through the stitch, yarn over again, and pull through 2 loops. Repeat this 2 more times for a total of 4 loops on the hook, then yarn over and pull through all 4 loops. Once you have 12 clusters, each separated by a chain 3, go ahead and slip stitch into the first cluster. Next, you're going to slip stitch over 1. In that same chain 3 space, you'll put a single crochet. Chain 3, then single crochet 1 into the next chain 3 space. Then chain 1, then do 2 double crochet, 3 treble crochet, and then 2 double crochet again, each separated by a chain 1 into the same chain 3 space. You're going to repeat this pattern all the way around the circle until you have 4 corners. Once you reach the beginning of the motif, just slip stitch into that first single crochet, chain 1, and cut your yarn. Here you should sew in your ends so that it doesn't come undone. Now I'm going to show you how to crochet 2 motifs together as you make them. So I have my unfinished motif up until the centermost treble crochet of one of the corners. I'll put the outward facing side or the good side of the motifs together, and then I'll slip stitch into the equivalent treble crochet on the finished motif, and then chain 1, treble crochet again into the unfinished motif, and then chain 1 again, double crochet 1, and then slip stitch into the equivalent double crochet on the finished motif, chain 1, and one last double crochet in that same corner space. Then you're going to chain 1 and single crochet into the next chain 3 space. Okay, from here you're going to chain 1 and then single crochet 1 into the chain 3 space of the finished motif, chain 1, and into that next chain 3 space of the unfinished motif, single crochet 1. Okay, now we're going to do the same thing other side. Chain 1, double crochet 1, chain 1, double crochet 1, into the equivalent double crochet of the finished motif, single crochet, slip stitch, then chain 1. Now treble crochet into the unfinished motif, and then chain 1, and now your center treble crochet, and then slip stitch into the equivalent treble crochet of the finished motif. Chain 1, one last treble crochet, chain 1, and now you can finish the rest of the motif as normal. Once you reach the beginning of the motif, same thing, you're just going to slip stitch 1 into that first single crochet, chain 1, pull the loop through, cut and sew in the ends. Very important. Now we're going to put double crochets all along the side of the motif chain. So each double crochet will be separated by a chain 1. One of your double crochets should go into that treble crochet, and then one double crochet into each of the double crochet of the motif, one into the chain 3 space, and the same thing on the left side, one into each of the double crochets and one into that last treble crochet. For this portion of the pattern, you're going to single crochet 3, chain 5, skip 4 stitches, and then into the 5th stitch, start and single crochet 3 again. And then like this all the way around. Now, single crochet 1 into that middle single crochet, chain 3, single crochet 1 into the 5 chain loop, chain 3, and then like that all the way around. So single crochet 1 into the middle single crochet, chain 3, single crochet 1 into the 5 chain loop, chain 3, all the way around. Okay, here you're going to chain 5, skip the first single crochet into the next one, into the chain 3 section, single crochet 1, single crochet 1 into the previous single crochet, and then single crochet 1 into the chain 3 loop on the other side. Chain 5, skip 1 single crochet, and just repeat like that all the way around. Okay, now we're going to even out the waistband a bit. So single crochet 1 into the single crochet from the previous row, chain 2, double crochet into the top of that little diamond that you made of single crochets, chain 2, and then continue like that all the way around. For this row, you're just going to do half double crochets all the way around. So 2 half double crochets into those chain 2 spaces, 1 into the double crochet, and then also 1 into the single crochet all the way around. For this row, half double crochet, chain 1, skip a stitch, and then just continue like that all the way around. Half double crochet, chain 1, skip a stitch, half double crochet. You get the idea. Okay, same thing again, half double crochet into each stitch, so into the chain 1 spaces and into the half double crochet spaces, just half double crochet 1. Alright, and for the last row of the top portion of the skirt, we're just going to do a reverse single crochet. I love this stitch, it's super simple, and I think it adds a nice finished look to any edging of any project you're working on. Alright, now on the other side of the motif circle, you're going to do the same thing as the last time. Well, kind of the same thing. Double crochets separated by a single chain. The only difference between this side and the other side is that now you'll put another single or double crochet in between the two motifs. So there will be a total of 16 stitches per square on this side. Alright, we finished that, and now for the fun stuff. We're going to be doing a fan cluster stitch, so you'll start with a single crochet, chain 1, skip 3 stitches, into the 4th stitch, double crochet 3. Alright, then you're going to chain 1, double crochet 3 again into the same stitch, now chain 1, skip 3 stitches into the 4th stitch, single crochet, and the same thing all over again, all around that row. Alright, now for the next row. We're going to create a cluster on top of each single crochet of the last row. Chain 3, single crochet 1 into that chain 1 space in the fan, chain 3, and now a cluster into the single crochet, and continue around the row just like that. Alright, this row is really similar to the base row of this stitch pattern, but the difference is that now we're going to be putting the fans on top of the clusters and single crochet 1 into the top of each fan. And you'll just continue like this all the way around. Alright, now a similar thing, we're going to do a cluster into each of those single crochets from the last row, then chain 3, and single crochet into the top of the next fan, then chain 3, cluster again on top of the single crochet, and like that all the way around. Once you finish the fan cluster stitch pattern, we're going to go into the edging. So again, we're going to do double crochets, each separated by a chain 1 all the way around. Notice how I'm putting those double crochets in this time. There's going to be 2 double crochets into each chain 3 space, 1 on top of each cluster, and 2 into the top of each fan. It's super important that you put the double crochets in the correct spots on this row, because if not, you're going to have the incorrect number of stitches to complete the edging. Okay, so to start the edging, we're going to cluster 1, chain 2, skip 2, double crochet 9. Once you've finished your 9 double crochet, chain 2, skip 2 stitches, cluster 1. So you'll continue all the way around just like that. Chain 2, skip 2, cluster 1, chain 2, skip 2, chain 9. Alright, for the next row we're going to double crochet 7 in the center of those double crochet 9. So you'll leave off 1 double crochet in the beginning and the end. So we'll start making kind of a pyramid with these double crochets. Once you reach the last or the 7th double crochet, chain 2, make a cluster into the top of the cluster in the last row. Chain 2, do another cluster into the same stitch, and chain 2. Skip 1 double crochet and double crochet 7, repeating all the way around like that. Okay, 3rd row of the edging, chain 2, cluster 1 into that chain 2 space, chain 2, another cluster into the chain 2 space, chain 2, and a 3rd cluster into the chain 2 space. Alright, now chain 2, skip a double crochet and double crochet 5. You're going to repeat like this all the way around this row. Alright, 4th row, we're so close to the end. So you're going to double crochet 3, next chain 2. Now we're going to create 2 clusters separated by chain 2 into that first chain 2 space. So here's our first cluster, chain 2, and the second cluster. Now chain 3, and the same thing on the next chain 2 space, cluster 1, chain 2, cluster 1. So here's our first cluster, chain 2, and the second cluster. Chain 2, and we're right back to where we started, double crochet 3. Don't forget to skip 1 double crochet. And you'll continue all the way around like this, so you'll have 3 double crochets and 4 clusters. Okay, last but not least, now you're going to double crochet 1 and immediately go into a cluster 1 into that first chain 2 space, chain 3, and create a picot by slip stitching into that first chain 1. Now chain 2, cluster into that same chain 2 space as the first one. chain 3, then slip stitch into the first chain, chain 2, and now we're going to create 3 clusters with the picots on top, each separated by a chain 2. So here we have the first cluster, chain 3, slip stitch into the first chain, chain 2, now cluster into that same chain 3 space, chain 3, slip stitch into the first chain, chain 2, and this will be the last cluster in the chain 3 space. Alright, now chain 3, single crochet into the first chain, chain 2, alright, same thing, last chain 2 space, two clusters, each separated by a chain 2. So first cluster, chain 3, chain 2, slip stitch in the first one, then chain 2, cluster again into that same space, chain 3, slip stitch into the first single chain, and you're not going to chain any after this. You're going to go directly from that into the double crochet. And those are all the stitches used in the Vidalia skirt designed by Marosa Designs. You can find the link for the full written pattern in the video description below. If you learned anything new from this video, go ahead and give it a like. If you have any questions or suggestions, leave them in the comment section below. And for more content like this, subscribe to Marosa Designs. Thanks so much for watching and happy crocheting!